Chapter 3, Hard Staying Sober. This is one, I hate this chapter, but I'm going to read it because there's some good in it. I also want to say that I dramatize everything because I'm writing films. So at this stage of my journey, everything's a little bit dramatized. Some of it's real, but I want to just say that it's dramatized to protect every of the parties involved. And just know that I don't feel this way, and a lot of my behavior, I was the one in the wrong, but at the time when I wrote, I didn't realize that I was dealing with this serious of an illness. So just entering with that. Chapter 3, Hard Staying Sober. The first healthcare job that I had in 2021 after leaving my career due to my mental health breakdown in December 2020. I never received the money I earned. He knew, and I knew enough of what he was doing. It was fraud. My job was to identify the sin sinners, find the bad apples, and let the tower know. A spy, if you will. The term was used a lot in my interview process and in training. We need you to be a spy. I love being a spy. I like spy games, I thought to myself. Finally, my dream of training electronic medical records EMR had come true. When I was 23, working at the cancer center, we switched to EMRs. There were a couple of boys that flew in to train us girls. Then we had to go to training classes, and I fell in love with the career. I interviewed the cute boy from the South on every detail of his career, and low key, the job described was intriguing, and I really liked training. Training is a lot like being a teacher, and I make such a good teacher. Each day, I dreamt of that dream job, one where I could travel and lead training classes, and then slowly I started to manifest it into reality. Shortly after the EMR switch, the cancer center that I worked for was forced to relocate down the road due to breach of contract. That is when I started to build my resume. After I had my son in February 2014, when I came back from my leave, they rehired my job and forced me into a new job, a job that I did not want. When I was complaining about it, my mentor, the cowgirl, she was in my interview and was the reason I got the job. My boss did not want to hire me because I did not have my license for the medical degree as medical assistant yet. I was in a rush to get a job to have my own money, and during the interview, my ex husband was in year 3 of cheating on me with his person that he had. Just say her name. With Dawn. I was at the end of my rope, but whatever reason, was still in love with him. I got a job as a medical receptionist at the cancer center in August 2011. When he was still just a boyfriend, we were living in his bedroom for 3 years. It was getting very tense, and I thought he would be happier in his own place. And I got the job at the cancer center, making $11 an hour, and I was excited and proud. I started working my budget and found an apartment across from my new job. I could just walk across the street. We moved in September 2011. He was excited because now his girlfriend could come over during the day. He worked thirds at Walmart, and he was driving a car that I bought, a red beater with a heater. However, it was our second car together that I bought. Well, his girlfriend would stay in the apartment, an apartment that I was paying all the bills, and during lunch, he would send her to the car to wait while I ate my lunch. How sweet of him. I was extremely depressed and eating all my feelings. He did not touch me or look at me. I just moved him into a two-bedroom apartment, and he could not stop getting his beep, 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 beep. I was 21 years old. I just graduated college with honors, and my first big girl job is in a nice cancer center. I was beautiful and desirable. The person I continue to choose her. I just thought it's because I'm fat, I guess. I made an excuse after excuse, and I brought a treadmill and cried. By May 2012, I was done. He was trying to break up with me. We were fighting and screaming, throwing things at each other. He was punching holes in the walls, just like when we lived in his bedroom. I just absorbed it and took the blame. Then one day I came home from work early, and I was greeted with beep, 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 beep. And I stood in the kitchen in my polka dot dress. I stood in the kitchen in my polka dot blouse and slacks and said, "Get up," and "Hello, Dawn. Nice to see you again." I just stood and grinned, holding my matching umbrella to my brows. Colorful polka dots. It was raining, so I had my rain boots on, and I was done. I was better than this. However, I was going to make him scared. I had a baby shower for my sister's twins that weekend, and that was why I was off early. I did not need a huge blow up. I had to cook and clean and not give a beep, 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 beep about him. This was at the height of us arguing when we first separated. Now I feel like we would laugh about it the older we get. After the baby shower, I called my landlord and got out of my lease. I got an apartment under my mom, and it was a studio apartment, and I was able to afford it without a man, and it made me proud. The cowgirl that trained me after I was hired, she was worried about me and my relationship, and she counseled me on everything. Every one of my coworkers were family. The cowgirl was the reason I got the job. She trained me in every job in the building, and she continued to pull me out of my depression. When I would show up when I would show up to work crying or upset, she would snap a spark under me. My work ethic was carved into me at that company. The cowgirl was older and married to a teacher. Well, she graduated and they had 3 boys, happily ever after. The cowgirl loved. She was my dear friend for many years, and I learned so much from her. She knew how mad I was at my company's decision, and she told me everything and likely changed my perspective on life. She said, "Build your resume, do every job they ask, and all it does is give you skills that they could never have. Then one day, when you're far away from this job, you will have all the talent and knowledge, and that baby girl they would never take, the cowgirl." That is just what I did. I became the yes girl. Any job, I agreed. Well, this continued strategy followed me into every new job. Will people take advantage of the yes girl? After my time at the cancer center, I went to family medicine, and when I started, it was obvious that I was the best medical assistant they had ever seen. Humble brag. I was very good at my job, and there's nothing to be ashamed of being proud of the work that you've done. Working at the cancer center, there are a lot of rules. They do not play. These are lives you're messing with. So when I went to work for the federal health system, they did not have the same love that a cancer center has. During my 5 years of working in oncology, I learned a lot from people. They do now. And by the time I left, it felt just like OHC did. During my 5 years working on oncology, I learned a lot from people. During this time, all my big life stuff happened. Boyfriend cheating on me in my apartment across the street. I would cry and try to feel sorry for myself. However, every face was a reminder that my life is okay and it's just a boy. However, when I finally did leave the relationship in Memorial Weekend 2012, which was my fire buddy's 21st birthday, timing seemed right. The lean green Honda was given to me because the Chevy van that I bought was given to my cheating boyfriend's grandparents. It was my pleasure. I did not want to sit in that van anymore. The stains in the back are not for me, your precious grandson. Beep, 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 beep. I, I was able to take care of myself and I was proud. I called it my panda bear, my fairy princess, and we sat in lawn chairs and thought, let us call Mr. Pinglecan. Mr. Pinglecan and I call her my LBF, Mr. Pinglecan, my LBF and my fairy princess, my fairies. I got to catch up with my fire friends, and seeing my BF did not like my friendships with my fire friends. They give me ideas of telling him to beep, 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 beep. Abusers do not want you to be empowered. I can sometimes be the abuser too. During the short time I felt empowered, I felt this feeling never left me. I was sitting enjoying my hard work, and statistically, I should be in prison, on drugs, or pregnant. I was none of the things that everyone said I would be, and I was everything that I thought I would be. I cooked what I wanted, I dressed in what I wanted to. I was happy, and even though I was so hot and generally overall wonderful, we may be beep, 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 beep. And looking back, I was 21 and should have been living my beep, beep, beep. I was not. I turned down parties, I turned down dates, I turned down a lot of fun I could have had. I continuously choose this guy that never chose me. However, it's hard to break the psychological hold that he has on you, especially beep, 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 beep. They will not, they will stop at nothing to lose control. I'm allowed to have boundaries, and when your heart's involved, it makes it extremely difficult to admit it to yourself. Admit that the person you choose to love, give your entire heart to. I would chase him for attention, and the more he did not desire me, the more I ran to him. And as a grown woman, I feel bad for this girl. However, I was a sad little girl, and opinions of men were currency in my head. My self worth wrapped into the opinions of men, and all I was I started to silence my own perspective. There is nothing more exhausting than trying to talk to someone that is unwilling to see your perspective. You just feel like you're running in an endless circle. Now, this could also be applied to me because I'm the same way sometimes. I see it for what it's worth now. I'm just gonna end there because that's like I hate that chapter more than you can possibly know. So I keep trying to rewrite this book. This book's painful. This is like my book of I was documenting my heart, all everything that I needed to burn to the ground. So that's why I keep trying to set this book on fire.